What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, giving you your preview, your 10 things for the Philadelphia Eagles' upcoming game against the New York Giants at home, the first home game at Lincoln Financial Field. So let's get hype about that. We're coming to this game 1-1, and if you would have told me at the beginning of the year we'd be 1-1 as we head into week 3, both tough games on the road. One at Washington, at a team that we have not really performed well against in the last 3 years, and then you go to Arrowhead, one of the toughest places to go as an away team, and play the Kansas City Chiefs. I would say 1-1 is acceptable. So that is where we're at, and now we're taking on the New York Giants, who look absolutely horrible. And take in mind, every time I take a shot at the Giants, I'm going to finish with something that I have, real deep down in the pit of my stomach that's kind of upsetting me about this game. But the Giants have looked absolutely terrible, and their weaknesses are 150% the Philadelphia Eagles' strengths at this given point. So it seems like it's going to be a great game for us. So we can go to 2-0 within the division, and then 2-0 within the NFC. So that, it doesn't really matter. People keep saying it doesn't really matter that you lost to the Kansas City Chiefs because it's an AFC opponent, and for all the tiebreakers and stuff, which is true, but I don't want to lose. I never want to lose. So we need to bounce back. We need to have this bounce back game. And here are going to be the 10 things to keep an eye on and 10 keys to victory and all that stuff for the Philadelphia Eagles in the upcoming game against the Giants. So at number 10, Odell won't be at 100%, so that gives our DBs a chance. Right now, we don't have a defensive back on this roster that could have a chance in hell of covering Odell man-to-man and shut him out an entire game. We probably wouldn't have, but may have had that in Ronald Darby, but he's still going to be, 3 weeks away at best. So there was, when we traded for Ronald Darby, some stats out there that Darby gave Odell his worst game ever. So that's going to be maybe for the second game against the Giants. I don't know if Darby will be back 100% by then. He should be back. I don't know if he'll be 100%. But, it definitely helps that Odell's not 100%. When you look at the Giants on paper, their wide receivers have not been playing well. Odell's not healthy. Brandon Marshall looks washed up, and Eli Manning doesn't have enough time to throw the ball. But that being said, if he does get time to throw the ball, Odell can wreak havoc on our secondary, especially because our secondary is not at full strength. But it does help. We'll take any advantage we can get because Odell will not be at 100%. It'll probably be pretty close. But you can see last week I think he came out and said he was 70, 80%, something like that. It's definitely the same this week. I would assume. So that's good for our defensive backs that Odell is not going to be firing on all cylinders. So it gives us a chance there on the back end. Go to number 9 is, can Zach Ertz make it 3 of 3? He has 13 catches for 190 yards in 2 games, and I don't know how many. I think they said literally 10 of those have been moving the chains, first down catches. So let's see. I think if Zach Ertz makes it 3 of his first 3, it is not overreacting by thinking, is this finally the Zach Ertz year? As a fantasy football owner that has Zach Ertz in 2 of my leagues, as a Philadelphia Eagle fan first and foremost that have seen Zach Ertz just underperform for the most part of his career, the entire first half of the season, and then once it gets a little chilly out, he starts to have really big games. Right now, man, Ertz looks really, really good. The combination and chemistry that he has with Carson Wentz is, you couldn't ask for a better scenario for your quarterback and your tight end and safety net. So let's see if Zach Ertz can make it 3 of 3. When you look at the Giants, you just see, either A, he's going to draw Landon Collins, and he should be able to preoccupy him for the whole game. And if that's the case, then it's time to utilize Darren Sproles at the backfield. And if they decide not to mark him up with Landon Collins, I don't see a safety. I don't see a linebacker that's going to be able to cover Zach Ertz. So that is going to be an absolute mismatch against any of those linebackers if that's ever the case. And, like I said, they're not going to be able to maneuver Landon Collins to shadow Zach Ertz the entire game unless, what we're going to talk about is the number 2 point doesn't happen. So I think Zach Ertz definitely has potential to make it 3 of 3. And if he does make it 3 of 3, do you guys think that it's not overreacting by saying this is Zach Ertz's year? He's finally coming into his own, finally has a niche carved out in this offense, and that's a tight end that's going to get you 8 to 10 catches a game for 100 yards. Man, I love it. I love seeing what I'm seeing out of Zach Ertz right now. Goal number 8 is Alshon Jeffery arrived last week, had a big stat line, had his first touchdown, looked good, but it looks like Janoris Jenkins, the Jackrabbit, is going to be back, so that is another big-time battle. I personally, if Alshon doesn't have a great game, I'm actually going to let it slide because he's gone up against Josh Norman in his first game, Marcus Peters in his second game, and now Janoris Jenkins. And in my opinion, I think at 100%, Janoris Jenkins is the number 1 corner in football right now. I just can't, for how he's like the Antonio Brown Like him and Chris Harris are those undersized guys. It does not make sense. But he's a beast, man, and we've already seen what Janoris can do against a bigger wide receiver, like when they played Dez Bryant. He's absolutely shut out Dez Bryant. But unlike Dez Bryant, Alshon Jeffery's not a bitch, so I definitely think Alshon's going to get in there, use his size against him, and that's kind of how he got separation against Marcus Peters for a couple plays last week. But another tough test for Alshon, our superstar wide receiver. I guess when you're looking at our schedule, Alshon's just hoping for next week. Just how about week 4? Week 4 we'll get a little bit easier against some of our corners, and then we can have a chance, maybe. But Alshon, let's go. Let's have a big game, bro. It's time to. If you're gonna be a superstar wide receiver, I'm now looking at it's not like you have to make the superstar catches and stuff like that. Right now, I'm looking at you as a number 1 wide receiver that's drawing some of the best corners in the game. Make it so worst case scenario, our other wide receivers can make plays. That's what the top wide receivers. You're not gonna beat the top corners in this league every other time. It's like a 50-50 battle. All right, but a true wide receiver 1 will take and eliminate that one corner so that everyone else can have big games. So Nelson Aguilar, Matt Collins, Torrey Smith, those guys there can have good games. Torrey Smith did not look good against Kansas City, so I don't know if that's going to mean more stats for Matt Collins, which I would absolutely be on. But, I mean, Alshon can help this team in other ways rather than putting up 100 yards and a touchdown. Going to number 7 is Chance Warmack. Looks like he's going to be starting over Isaac Seumalo. Let's see what they see in this offensive line group. Right now, Seumalo has been terrible. Seumalo has been absolutely terrible. Someone said in the preseason he's going to be my most hated Eagle by the end of the season. And it's getting pretty damn close. I understand that Seumalo is a much better center than he is a guard. And I probably would say with his size and his size advantage over Jason Kelce, this is probably Jason Kelce's last year. But I would say really the only fact and the only reason why Jason Kelce's been around is everyone just thinks the chemistry with Wentz is looking good. But Wentz is going to be experienced enough next year that we can probably get Kelce as one of the higher paid centers in the league off the books. We'll see Amala to center, and then you work elsewhere. We did extend Warmack. But Warmack didn't look special in the preseason either. But the issue is, let's see what they see. Because we have Alan Barbary, who's now starting for the Denver Broncos at tackle. He was a really good guard. Really good in the sense that he can be a starter, and you're not going to go, my God, Barbary's getting beat like a drum. So what we need to see what Doug saw in this offensive line to trade off all our depth. Because right now, I see a shaky offensive line. I see an offensive line that definitely shouldn't be throwing away starting talent like Alan Barbary for 7th round draft picks for like little to no cap that we're going to get back in return. All I'm going to say for Chance Warmack, if he gets this starting spot over, I mean, it can't be any worse for Seumalo. That's the only thing. Chance Warmack can't be any worse. Seumalo gave up like pretty much every sack last week he was involved in. So good luck for Snacks Harrison. Snacks Harrison is an absolute beast. Good luck trying to establish a run against that. That's all I can say. I'm not even trying to say that sarcastic, even though that did come off incredibly sarcastic. Just come on, man. Good luck. Number 6 is our first home game. First game back at the Link. And something that personally, as someone that doesn't, I don't live in Philly. I don't get to go to the Link nearly as much as I would like to. We never really have like a home field advantage. Philadelphia playing at home in the Link should be as big of an advantage as anywhere. As Seattle, as Kansas City, as New England, Denver. We don't have like the weather, we don't have like the high altitude or anything like that. But with how rabid our fan base is, when teams come to in Philly, when they come to play in the Link, they should be regretting it. It feels like when we're winning, that's the case. When we're losing and we're unsure, it's not the case. I would really like to see this become like a fortress. You should be able, when you see your 8 home games, to feel confident that you're going to win them all. And right now, I'm feeling confident with Carson Wentz on this team. I feel confident against any team. But we need to establish this home field advantage. And especially when you look at the Giants, that offensive line is shaky. And when it gets loud, when it gets on 3rd down, they're going to be prone to mistakes because they're just holding on for dear life. Vomit on their sweater already. Mom spaghetti, Because Brandon Graham's going to be 2 scoops up their poop shoe. Vinny Curry, Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Timmy Jernigan. They're going to be dominating. They're going to be there. So as long as the home field advantage is there, and that's not always the case when you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, that's going to be something else, an additional to help pile on and expose this offensive line from the Giants. Going to number 5, Jake Elliott looks shaky versus Kansas City. Will be even tougher at Link. As I said last week, it's good that he made his debut against Kansas City Chiefs because I think it would be even tougher making it at the Link. He misses an easy kick. He misses a 28-yarder like he did after that crazy Zach Ertz reception at the end of the first half, and then it set him up. Nice points. Shanked it. That's going to kill your confidence. It's going to kill your confidence times 10 when the whole time you're on the sideline. If that happened at the Link, they'd be chirping you. So he needs to you know, shore up everything. I know we saw, you know, 5th round draft pick a kicker. Maybe he'll take over for Sturgis. Right now it looks like probably not. You gotta make those kicks. You only missed one, but that is a terrible. That's like shorter than an extra point, you know. And that was like, we had all the momentum. We had all the momentum after that crazy Zach Ertz thing where it was like a deflection, and then he caught it. I don't know how long it was, like 40, 50 yards, something crazy like that. All the momentum, and then you miss that, you suck all the momentum from the team. We're getting the ball to start the second half. Just makes that field goal. We'd be tied at 6-6 against Kansas City. Who knows what happens for the remainder of the game. I'm not going to, you know, shoulder the load and the burden of that defeat on Jake Elliott, but he did affect that loss in a way, I believe, as far as momentum is concerned. So we need him to have a big game, but all in all, from what I've seen, I don't think Caleb Sturgis needs to worry when he comes back at 100% mid-season or so. Number 4 is going to be hurting at safety. Roddy McLeod is uncertain. Jalen Watkins and Corey Graham are hurt, so is there a chance Chris Murgos has to start back there with Malcolm Jenkins? Well, Kansas City managed with their backup safeties. I think they had Sorensen, who's probably a little bit better than Chris Maragos because they know Eric Berry, and he did well. He did pretty well. But, you know, that is something just to keep an eye on. Anytime you go up against the Giants, who their one strength, if they can execute, is their wide receivers with a depleted secondary. And that's kind of what it's looking like. We have talent back there. Jenkins is good. Mills has looked solid. Rasul Douglas looked really good for a rookie. Robinson hasn't been exposed yet. So, I mean, there's positives. The wheels have yet to fall off on this kind of patchwork secondary as it stands right now. But, you know, leave it to the Giants when all odds are stacked against them to just go off on this secondary. So I'm a little bit worried. Definitely keep an eye on that. The safety spot, McLeod getting back would be great, but I mean, I think he has a hamstring or something like that. That's a tough one. That's usually not a 1-week injury. Number 3 is Doug Peterson needs to be less predictable with play calling. Another week where I'm chirping Doug's play calling. I was watching this game at my buddy's house. I could have swore probably called at least 15 plays. I was like, they're going to do this. They're going to throw it to Ertz. They're going to do a screen pass. It's the screen passes. Let's be honest. It's the screen passes. When you can't establish the run, that's not all on Doug Peterson. You know, it's execution. We have to establish the run. If you fail to establish the run, you're going to be very limited as to what you can call for the remainder of your game. But just less predictable, man. Everyone knows it's going to be a screen pass. Like, if you see anything like 2nd and 13, it's a screen pass. It's something gimmicky. It's not just a slant. It's not something catchy going downfield, utilizing our wide receivers. It's always something behind the line of scrimmage in long down distances. I'm sick of it, man. Teams know it. It never works. For every one play Darren Sproles will be able to make guys miss and to make it is 10 plays where the defense reads it right and they stop it. He's very, very predictable. I still need to see better play calling from Doug Peterson for me to be sold. Going to number 2 is we had to establish a run. There's no other way about it. It was my gripe in the defeat against Kansas City. Carson Wentz cannot throw this ball 35-plus times against a very legit secondary. You know, if with DRC, even though he tackles like a baby infant, Janoris Jenkins, Landon Collins, Andrew Adams, like these guys are good. These guys are good playmakers. Throwing it 35 times, you're just asking for turnovers. The probability is just you're throwing it too much. I don't even think Tom Brady could throw it 35, 40 times against the Giants and not get a pick, not get a turnover. So, you know, just establish the run, even if it's not working. Just like Kansas City, it was not working. Kareem Hunt, who had one of the biggest first weeks I've ever seen, it was not working in the first half. You know what they did? They still forced the run. They still keep the balance to their offense. That's what we need to see. And when Andy Reid, who's like the poster boy of abandoning the run and just throwing the ball out 40 times when it's not working, when he can learn and develop and consistently try to establish a run until it works, you know that you got a problem with our play calling. So we have to try to run this ball, be it LeGarrette Blount. Darren Sproles is a good mismatch. I don't think any linebacker on the Giants can cover him. So, you know, that is some options there. And number 1 thing is rest in peace, Eli Manning. I think we need to have a moment of silence for Eli Manning. Our defensive line is going to dominate. Like, it's understating. Giants have the worst offensive line. Like, everyone, you know, it's like almost a meme at this point with how bad Seattle Seahawks offensive line is. Giants are worse. Giants have the worst starting tackles going up against, you know, a team that I don't think there's been a team more than Philly that's looked good on the defensive line and getting pressure on the quarterback. We got pressure and shut down Alex Smith for 95% of that game. We got pressure and shut down Kirk Cousins. Both those guys are upper tier quarterbacks. Not going to say they're elite, but they're upper tier. They're no slouches. Those offensive lines, not slouches. Kansas City has a good O-line. Washington has a good O-line. We're going up against the worst offensive line at home in a rivalry game. I just feel bad for Eli. Eli Manning, thank you for beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I appreciate that, but it's going to be a bot. Man, I honestly can't see Eli Manning. What do you have? He has like that home starting streak or whatever. He hasn't missed a game forever because he's been incredibly healthy. I legit think that there's a chance that that's going to end after this Sunday. It's Eagles are going to eat, man. That's why my MVP for this game is going to be Brandon Graham once again. He was my MVP prediction last week. Wasn't so much the case. I think he had a half sack this week. Eric Flowers, I mean, he's going to get 2 sacks. One last thing that we're going to leave here as we're 15 minutes in. It kind of, like I said at the very beginning, I have this weird feeling in the pit of my stomach. I kind of feel like this could be a trap game. I kind of feel like everyone's overlooking the Giants because of their horrible start and where we should be able to dominate. Yes, 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 all those things are true. But you can't take the Giants. You can never take any team in the NFC East easy. As soon as you take them easy, you're going to make you look stupid. And what stupider thing would it be for every Philadelphia Eagle fan jumping on the bandwagon saying we're going to dominate the Giants and have them beat us at home and make us look like, you know, right now we have ambitions that we look like the best team in the NFC East right now. Dallas has looked shaky. They got dominated by the Broncos. Redskins look shaky. We dominated them. And then the Giants have looked horrendous. So everything is looking good right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. So don't get overconfident and don't expect that this team can't come out flat, underperform, and the Giants finally, you know, I don't know, somehow, some way, are able to get the ball off and find Odell and make us look like a bunch of idiots. So I don't know why I have that. Maybe it's just I've been an Eagles fan for too long, and when things look too good to be true, sometimes they are. But I hope I'm wrong, guys. I'm definitely picking the Eagles to win this game, 100%. But I'm just saying, if they don't win, like, it's one of those things. I'm saying they win, but if they don't win, I'm going to be right either way. You know, it's not one of those things, but I just feel at the pit of my stomach that this is not as easy of a game as people are making it out to be. Let me know what you guys think about this game in the comment section below. Subscribe if it's your first time stopping by. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.